One of the best things about reading books is that you get to imagine what the characters and places look like in your head. So those descriptions bring the story and the character to life. And sometimes books have pictures too, which help us to see what the writer and the illustrator had in mind when they created their characters and their setting. For example, close your eyes. Are they closed? Close your eyes and picture this one. But who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, he's got purple prickles all over his back. Oh, help! Oh no! It's a Gruffalo. It has to be a Gruffalo, because what else looks like that? One of the book series that we like in our house is called Meet the Twitches. And the Twitches live in Teacup House. Now, for adults, it's a cross between The Borrowers and Toy Story. And it centres around this girl called Stevie Gillespie. And on the very first page it says, Stevie Gillespie was precisely 117.5 centimetres tall, with long brown hair that she wore in a big plait on the side of her head. She had it on the side so she could twirl it between her fingers when she was thinking. Now you've already got a picture in your head as to what Stevie looks like, and that's without getting to the pictures. Stevie looks like this. It helps to have that description to know what's going on. Now Stevie gets given a teacup house. Here's what it says. It had 8 windows and a front door and a back door, and was decorated with a pattern of leaves and flowers. It had all the details of a real house too: pipes, guttering, a doorknob, and even a little letterbox. There was a saucer, which, when Stevie sat the teacup in it, she saw was a wonderful garden with its very own dainty stone path. And over the blue door there was a miniature sign that said, The Twitches. And if you hadn't got that picture already in your head, there's a helpful picture just there that shows us what this house looks like. But what about when you open it? Hey, what happens then? Nanny Blue lifted off the roof, releasing a tiny catch, and swung open the 2 halves of the cup, which were hinged together on one side so that Stevie could see inside the teacup house. It looked like this. See, it really helps for us to have not only the description, but the picture, to be able to see what's going on and where it's happening. Now, some books give us that really easily. Some books show us that. Other books give us maps as well, it's called. But this book is very good at using the words to tell us what things are like. But more than that, it gives us maps. You see, not just a description of what's happening and who's there, but it shows us a picture of where things happen. And where things happen can be quite important. In the Bible, we don't get many descriptions of what Jesus looks like. We don't hear descriptions of the sun bouncing off the Sea of Galilee. We don't hear about the dust that gets kicked up as they walk along the road. It's almost like in the Bible, we don't really need to see what Jesus looks like. What we need to know is how he treats the world around him. In fact, often we learn more about the characters that Jesus is speaking to and helping and healing than we do about Jesus himself. But that said, I do think it's quite important that we know a little bit about where Jesus comes from. I think sometimes it might be helpful for us to have a map in our minds of where in the world Jesus lived. so that when we hear stories about Mary and Joseph travelling from Nazareth to Bethlehem at Christmas, or when we hear about Jesus walking by the Sea of Galilee or on the Sea of Galilee, or riding into Jerusalem on a donkey, we can begin to make it come alive in our minds. Now, if you've got a Bible around, there probably is a map somewhere in the back that will show you what it's all about. So this is our world. And whilst God and Jesus were there at the beginning and created it all, and they know it all and they look after it all, actually, when Jesus was on earth, he didn't visit very much of it. We know that he was born in Bethlehem. We know that he lived in Judea. We know that he spent a little bit of time as a refugee in Egypt. But actually, the majority of his time was spent in Israel. A very, very, very tiny part of our world. So tiny that with this map, as we zoom in, it just gets blurry. And because it's blurry, I wanted to give you a better version. But unfortunately, my computer didn't like the map that I had. And so it ended up in pieces. So what I need you to do is either head over to the website and download this picture so you can cut it up and make it as a jigsaw puzzle. Or if you're feeling particularly clever, split a piece of paper into 24 boxes with 4 along the bottom and 6 up the side, and make sure it's this way up because you are going to only have 4 along the bottom and 6 up the side, and see if you can draw this map in the right way back onto your piece of paper. And then once you've got it, you'll be able to keep it and look at it every time you hear that Jesus was traveling from one place to another or where he was going. You'll have this picture in your head of where it happened. Let's say a quick prayer. God, I thank you that you came into our world as Jesus. I thank you that you came to a specific place to talk and to teach and to share your message. Thank you that we don't need to know what you look like to understand what you did. But help us to build these pictures of the people that you want us to love in the world. God bless us. Amen.